Hello. Okay, so I'm finally back. Decided to make a little video. I was supposed to go riding today, but it's raining, so I figured I'd do a little video. But I'm going to go over a couple different things. I have a little project bike I've been working on for somebody. We're going to go over what we're doing with that. And I finally bought myself a real pair of riding shoes. Flat pedal mountain bike shoes. They're Endura, made by Endura. Humvee is the model name. So we're going to talk about them. I'll show them to you. And yeah, let's just start going. So I got a little project going on here, just some minor stuff. This is a friend of mine. It's a Giant Rain 2. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably saw me post a picture of this, and I said it was a 2012. Well, my friend went back in his paperwork, and he's thinking it's probably more like a 2005 or 2006, something like that. So it's a little older than we thought. But the bike got some really good parts on it. It's 145 millimeters travel, front and rear. I weighed the bike. It was just barely over 32 pounds. Right now it's a 2-speed up front, 9-speed in the rear. It's a hollow shaft crank, which is nice, with the 4 bolts, same bolt pattern as a modern crank setup. We're going to be doing a few little parts. I'm going to show you the parts now, what I got for it. All right, so look at this beautiful table of parts. It's like jewelry, right? Even my wife thinks so. She's glad to get bicycle parts instead of jewelry, just so everybody knows, so you'd be jealous. But yeah. Anyway, we're going to start out with the cockpit here. If you look at that thing, look how narrow them bars are. Look how long that neck is. It's kind of like the tiller on a 1903 Oldsmobile or something. You feel like you're flipping over the bike when you ride it. So what we're putting on there is my new favorite bars. My Spank Spoon bars. 60 millimeter rise, 785 wide. And we're going to do this KRSEC Kursk neck, lightweight 45 millimeter neck. And you know what I was thinking too? We're getting pretty close to 200 subscribers. I think when I get to 200 subscribers, I'm going to give away a set of bars with either a neck like this or a wake neck and a set of half Nelson grips. So after I get to 200, we'll do that at some point. So now we can move on to the drivetrain. Now, I don't know, you've been watching the channel, you know Dior is my favorite. It's actually an 11, it's going to be an 11x1. He's got a Dior derailleur with the clutch. And the appropriately matched shifter and chain. And we have the cassette is an 11 to 50. What's on there now is 11 to 32, 9-speed. So this is an 11 to 50. 11 speed. And we have a narrow wide 36-2 sprocket. I know I always get a lot of grief about doing the 36s, but they work good around here. We ride a lot of flat land and we need the speed. Don't do a lot of climbing. And we're doing the one-piece cable housing deal with my little cool little aluminum ends here that won't. Once you put this thing together, they're not going to settle down on there anymore. The adjustments will stay good. So that's the parts we're doing, nothing major. At some point, he's going to need a fork service, but we're going to do that down the road a bit. I wanted to tell you the prices on the things I bought here. So the drivetrain was $177 on eBay. But one thing I'm going to say, be careful when you're buying the Dior stuff, because one part number will have the clutch and the other part number won't. And when you read the description, they sound very similar. I wound up downloading the parts breakdown of the derailleurs to figure out which part number had the actual clutch lever, so you could turn the clutch on and off. So that was $177. That was with tax, shipped, everything. And then the spank bars were $41. The neck was $25 from Amazon. The spank bars I bought from Northern Bike, something like that. Northern Bike. And they were $41. So yeah, I just want to let you know what the stuff went for. I'm real happy with all the parts, so especially the drivetrain. But like I said, you got to be careful which derailleur you're getting to make sure you're getting the right one. So we're going to start putting all this stuff together. I'm going to show a little bit of it, probably speed up most of it, because you've seen it all before, but I'll show a few things that I think are interesting. We got to shorten these a little bit. They're $785. I'm shortening them to about $760. 31. About an inch per side. Because he liked riding my bike and mine are $760. One of these days I'm going to buy me a rat tail file, so I'm going to break out the die grinder every time I need to deburr something. To look at this, because I got to take this nut out of there. I don't know if this thing has, does this have it? I think we're just going to break the chain, because you know, old 9-speed, get all cables apart and see where we go from there. Right? Does that sound like a plan? Alright, I got this thing, but it was tight. I don't know what I'm going to tighten it to. It must not be preload on the bearing, because it was definitely too tight for that. Looks like it's got grease. Got grease on her. Right on that Allen key. Alright, after several hours of messing with this stupid thing, trying to make a puller, I finally figured out through YouTube, the inner bolt self-extracts against the outer bolt. So you use an 8mm socket through the middle. And I think it's working. So I turned the camera back on. I think it's working, but I'm not sure. Looks like it's working. It's an awful complex setup, man. I like the new IXF stuff. Myself, I just put a newer style IXF crank on here, but it seems to be working. How about that? Now if I can get this stuff all apart. You take the center one off, reverse thread, and it all should come apart. There's the 8. Let's take this out the rest of the way. Alright, that's not bad. I was getting pretty upset with this thing. So that is not bad. Looks like we're taking off. Hoping the bolt pattern is still the same. So we're taking off a 32. And whatever this little tiny puppy is. Putting a 36. So that'll give him a little more top speed though. But then he has his 50 on the for first gear, so it'd be good. I want to clean all this mess up. You know what's cool though? I don't know how much you can see. There's a pretty tricky linkage here. If you notice this swing arm, this triangle, is all one piece. But then they got a linkage here to allow movement, and a linkage, it follows this linkage. So this linkage actually guides things. So I'm trying to imagine the way this linkage works is if the rear wheel is basically, so as it goes through its travel, the rear wheel is basically going straight up and down instead of arcing. So it's more of a consistent wheelbase. You know, 2004 bike, 2005. I mean, you know, pretty smart, but probably overcomplicated. Probably totally unnecessary. Some beautiful pieces here, though. Like, I guess these were little forgings that they welded into some aluminum tubing. Nice stuff, I mean, you know. Alright, let's see what I can do here. Alright, so the bolt pattern's exactly the same, but the register is just a hair off. I'm going to say, I don't know, 16th. So I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to bolt these sprockets together. Because you got to remember, they center off of these things. So it's going to stay centered. I'm going to bolt it together and then I'm going to cut it with a die grinder to match the original sprocket. Alright, I put his bash guard on there. I made the sprocket fit. Chain wheel, sorry. It gives me stomach cramps to put this big heavy thing on there. I don't like it. Not a single bash on it. Totally unnecessary. Probably weighs half pound. But I'm going to go with it because I know he likes it. So the thing has two major. Alright, so I got everything together. You probably could tell I filmed most of it with my GoPro and the thing died on me. I missed some good footage of checking the chain center line and some other little things, but it's all together now. All right, so I think we made some good upgrades to this bike. As old as it is, it's a pretty decent bike. Got good components. I mean, obviously the elephant in the room is the 26-inch wheels, which isn't too popular these days. But I think he's going to get some good use out of it and all. So we're going to move on to my the mountain bike shoes I bought. Let's talk about them for a minute. All right, so this is what I've been riding with, these Puma sneakers. The exact opposite of what everybody says you should be riding with, because they're very flexible. I like them being flexible. I felt the pedal under my foot. But I'm going to try the what everybody says is I should be using. I had a hard time because I wear size 14. So these are Endura. And the model is Humvee. And I happen to be a big fan of green. So they're in green, size 14. They have a bunch of little holes in them for airflow. Now Tracy thinks they might be a little bit warm in the summer, but I guess we'll have to see. But they feel really constructed really well to me. I haven't used them yet. Hannah, my daughter, says the sole is very reminiscent of Vans. You know, very rigid sole. But here is pretty rubbery. This pattern here is supposed to stick onto the flat pedals really good. They feel light. I think they look really nice. They're really light. I think they're constructed pretty good. I guess we're going to find out when I wear them. So next week I should be able to try them out on a trail. We'll see how they work out for me. And I'll give you a little bit of a review how I liked them or didn't like them, whichever way it goes. So we're going to end this video right here for now. Hope you enjoyed it, and catch you next time. Yeah, and this is a bicycle, in case you didn't know.